Hello everyone and welcome back to a Monday night and iRacing IndyCar coverage. As always, a strength of field race, but I'm sure this is going to be one with a slightly different complexion. The month of May well and truly underway, both in the real and virtual worlds, and a lot of people with their eyes focused on this weekend and the 12th annual running of the iRacing Indy 500. For now then, round 10 in this iRacing IndyCar Championship. No championship protagonist really to be seen, but I'm sure there will still be some championship storylines for us to take a look at. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. As always, delighted to welcome you to coverage here on RaceSpotTV. Alongside is Lorenzo Bonder. Live timing and scoring is powered by our partners at timing71.org. You can visit them at racespot.wtf/Indy. TV cameras provided to us by Istvan Ballo and TrackCams22.com, with additional car cameras designed by RaceSpot's own Tyler Maxson. So round 10 of this championship, it's been a very interesting road to get here, and just a couple of weeks left to go. We will return to the Brickyard next time, but we are in Hotlanta here today, the 1.5-mile oval that will shred tires with track temperatures relatively warm. We will finish on the streets of Belle Isle. That will be a championship showdown you do not want to miss. Here are the championship standings, Lorenzo. It's not that close for first and second anymore, but look at Adam Crane working his way up into the top three.
Yeah, he's working his way up to the top three, but I think this is going to be the main pointing talk of this race. Adam has the golden opportunity in this race to move up a few points, because the top two, Henry Bennett and Adam Blocker, they got their minds somewhere else.
Adam Blocker actually, of course, at the Brickyard, where he's trackside in his duties with Ilmore Engineering and part of the Chevy engine program. Interesting battle for fourth and fifth, between Brendan Lichtenberg, Andrew Marquez, and of course great to see the newcomers Alexander Van der Sant and Alexis Newsom represented in these championship standings. Both of them will also be in action here today. Qualifying is underway. It's a solo car qualifying. Drivers get the track all to themselves. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see it's provisionally Alexis Newsom, two-time winner in the Lionheart Speedway Series, at the top of the charts. Joe Lafilippe, the next car to set a qualifying lap time down in 11th. 14 cars, Lorenzo, and let's talk about the weather conditions very briefly. It's really warm in the air. You can see 32 degrees Celsius. It's 44 on the track as well. This is going to be an interesting race where cars are going to be very close wheel to wheel.
And they're going to be very close wheel to wheel. We're going to be mainly seeing the medium line being the preferred line, because bottom line is just going to make the car very loose on the re-entry between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on the squad oval. But I think the main key point will be saving those tires. The rubber will be screaming for grip and screaming for mercy at the very tail end of their stint.
And so we still got 40 seconds left. Does look like 3 cars will not set qualifying lap times. It will be Nate Hayden, Diego Pereno, and Arturo Amro. Oh, great to see Amro back on a Monday night here. I've seen him on occasion on the ovals. Let's talk a bit about this track as qualifying winds to a close. I forgot that we had our wonderful 3D track maps brought to us by RaceSpot's own Tyler Maxson, and you can see here, Lorenzo, quad oval. It's a relatively interesting track, and like you were just saying before, drivers will have to be careful when they're wheel to wheel.
Yeah, because they can get so close, and there might be some slight arrow wash between some of the cars in the track, and the main key point, I think the main overtaking points will be that backstretch, and maybe going to turn 1 if you actually get a good run out of 4.
Well, qualifying comes to a close for the 10th time this season. Just 3 races left to go. Let's go trackside and bring up the trumpets and take a look at our starting grid. So on pole position, Alexis Newsom. She's joined up with factory-backed and Lionheart. Now part, though, of 3 Crowns Racing and the Indy Alliance program. On her outside is her teammate, Severi Seppa, in the 6th. Just half a tenth of a second separating them. Adam Crane in his quest for third place in this championship. Third place on the grid as well with Alexander Russell on the outside, 1/10 off Alexis Newsom in pole. Andrew Marquez inside of Alexander Van der Sant on row number 3 with Joe Lafilippe inside of the Hyperstar, Brendan Lichtenberg. Great to have at least one of the Team i5G drivers in today's grid. Tim Williams inside of Aaron Roos with Jason Wallet and Nate Hayden on row number 6. A final row is Diego Pereno and Arturo Amro bringing up at the tail end of this 14-car field. Trumpets blare up the excitement, Lorenzo. It'll be interesting to see what the 14 drivers can put on for us here over the course of 133 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. For some, might be a little bit of a lonely race, but then again, this is one of those tracks which are very tricky. If you underestimate, I think it is basically a mirror track if you compare it to Texas because it has a similar format, but it's much different because of that flat portion you have on the main start-finish line. So it's going to be really interesting. The long stints, how prepared they are for those long stints, because 14 cars, normally we're going to be saying they're going to be green all the way. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. 133 laps is going to be a big challenge.
And the 14-car field, a byproduct of the splitting system on the iRacing service. We've got a 14-car split here and 13 in the second split. So smaller fields, but hopefully it cycles through into some relatively clean racing. The drivers roll off then. 14 cars strong, 7 rows deep. Looks like Nate Hayden does not take to the grid. Strong field in terms of iRating as well, Lorenzo, because it's a split field. You're looking at the lowest iRating driver at about 2,700 iRating.
Yeah, I'm about 700 away from it, so I'm pretty much would be in the bottom split. But nevertheless, it's a really good thing to have a good strong field, and some of these drivers who've been in the Indy Fixed 500 top split coming in here as well. Just grabbing that top split action and getting some points.
It was an interesting top split, that's for sure. It was Phil Krause taking victory in a race that finished under caution. Not how you always want to see things end, but it was an enthralling race till that point. This Saturday, the 12th annual iRacing Indy 500, and you can catch it all live on RaceSpotTV at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. UTC. But for now, Hotlanta, where all eyes are focused here in the iRacing IndyCar Open Championship. It's the Indy Alliance out front. Let's get the green flag out here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for 133 laps. Just 14 cars in today's field. Looks like Van der Sant is trying to make a move further back in your pack, but look at Crane down to the inside, already getting on past every Seppa. I'm not sure if Diego Pereno has had some sort of issue, and indeed, he's not even across the start finish line, Lorenzo.
And that is slightly weird as we're seeing the guys on the back stretch, and I can see Aaron Roos being crashed apparently here at Arjuna, but no yellow flag issue on track.
And look at Crane now poking his nose to the outside line, trying to swoop on past Newsom as, Marquez trying to pounce on Severi Seppa. So 2 cars having incidents there on the first lap, but somehow we stay under green. Here comes the run from the Loose Nut Racing driver with Andrew Russell in the background as Aaron Roos finally makes his way down onto pit road. Not how he wanted to start this race. They're too wide for third, but single file for first and second.
Going too wide with Andrew Marquez is not the thing you really want to go, and that inside line for Marquez is going to be nightmarish of sorts as he comes up into the track. Will be overtaken, I think, by Alex Russell into number 3, and then it's just damage control for now.
Here comes the Hyperstar Lichtenberg, already up 2 positions on the day. And this is, of course, that championship battle that you want to take your eyes focused on. Seppa running an interesting line there that Russell, I don't think, knew what to do with over-under. Here comes the run from the 11. Oh, wonderful. 2 wide, 2 deep. They go. The Hyperstar gets on through as well. He looks for one more place down the inside of Severi Seppa, side by side with Alex Russell as well.
He wants 2, he maybe even wants 3, Brendan Lichtenberg. The Hyperstar just going in quick into the backstretch session, but had to tuck in under the draft of Alex Russell and contend for 4th place as we speak.
I tell you what, I don't want to really go take a look at the replays from the start just yet, because it looks like this might be kicking off here as looks like Roos, a 53-second stop, finally gets back out onto track as we look rearwards from the 11. as it's Seppa and Marquez who are now side by side. I think there was a move by Jason Wallet on past Tim Williams on the edge of the top 10 as well. So interesting side-by-side action basically through the entire pack. There's Roofs going slowly on the access road, just trying to stay out of the way there, Lorenzo.
Yeah, the thing is, if you have a crashed car, that's in the rejoin line on Atlanta is not the smoothest, right? If you compare it to other tracks, it's a little bumpy. The car will get really loose on the exit. You have to put the weight jacker nearly all the way to the max on the negative side, and you're gonna be with loss of speed. So good job on Roofs.
So here comes Wallet trying to look on past Joe Lafilippe in the 13. Nothing doing just yet. Working lap 7 out of 133. I think we're going to go and take a look at the RaceSpotTV replay then. Start with the initial start. And Pereno, just on the power, Lorenzo, spins it out by himself. He is very lucky to still be rolling here.
Yeah, it's quite surprising for you to get it spinning. So, but then again, it's one of those tracks which has a little bit of banking and backing, actually affects the reacceleration out of the car. Unfortunate mistake, but it's still on track.
Yeah, he's still on track, unlike Aaron Roofs was for a little while. Let's take a look here at single file. This is on lap 1. Ooh, loses it by himself, noses it down into the inside wall. Let's jump on board with the number 10. And you can see there was running very low, and I wonder if just a little bit too much weight jacker there, Lorenzo. He snaps viciously to the inside wall.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too. I think he might have been on the positive side, maybe 3-4 on the weight jacker, and that on the draft, especially for lap 1 where the tires are still slightly cold, you're not going to get the best run if you are on clean air. You're going to have an advantage, and unfortunate that Aaron Roofs was the victim on this occasion.
Riding on board with the Hyperstar, who's already up 5 positions on the day, really charging his way up through the field. As Diego Pereno, flipping his way down pit road. Will we stay green here? Oh, we've got a contender for the iRacing not top 10, I do believe. Straight back to the replay machine we will go. Oh, that's an interesting one. He's loose coming over the start-finish line. Rockets his way through the iRacing safety car over the inside wall as well. And manages to nail the landing there for good measure, Lorenzo.
Yeah, if we have to measure the grind as well on the wall, we're going to give that basically a 9.5 out of 10 because you avoided the pace car. So I know it is unfortunate for Pereno, but still the grind, I'll put a mid in it.
Oh, this is not the funnest of onboards. I was making a comment in a Lionheart race just a few days ago about how the driver is probably fortunate that he wasn't in VR. It turns out he was in VR and went for a rather sickening tumble. Edge of the top 10, still close between Wallet and Lafilippe, with Tim Williams lurking as we jump on board with the number 14 Red Machine. It's Philippe up on the high line, Wallet down on the inside, and side by side they continue to work here. Ooh, and Williams almost loses the rear end there.
Yeah, a little bit tricky over there on the exit out of 2 into 3, and fortunate that they didn't manage to crash at all in there.
I think the strength of field is 3,567. That's not too bad, you know, Lorenzo, for a relatively small field in the midst of Indy 500 qualifying. There is so much attention being placed on setup work now, and I'm sure the team's grinding at the last tenths and hundredths of a second as, well, they'll find out what the pace from each other is here tonight for the very first time.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those interesting things. Yeah, we saw an issue with Roofs, maybe.
Another issue with Roofs. Is there going to be another tumble down pit road? Oh no, it's out of turn 2 once more. That car does not look stable. And I wonder if that's going to be day done. He's already had significant damage once. He'll be glad that he doesn't have to fund the repairs on his car either as we return to the live pictures and look at the gap for first, which is now extended up to 1.2 seconds with the Hyperstar very much lurking in the background here.
And lurking in the background because Adam Crane got prejudiced, I think, by Arturo Amro into one end. He actually got a little bit angry and got on the radio and was questioning the move from Amro, and that allowed the Hyperstar to come in on the draft and start chasing the VRS satellite driver.
Russell as well, enjoying his, I think, first appearance on a Monday night here on the broadcast. washing up the track, just avoids getting up into the wall. That was close for a moment, but holds on to the machine. Back in 6th, it's Van der Sant looking to the outside of Andrew Marquez. He'll be back in action in just a couple of hours' time in the next round of the Lionheart Speedway Series, as they head to the Worldwide Technology Raceway, back to the short tracks after a tumultuous and... Ooh! Van der Sant's lost the rear end of the car as well. We're going to stay green, I think, once more here, Lorenzo. No, we're not.
Yeah, we got our...
I put the caution jinx out there.
Yeah, you had to put the caution jinx. We got our first caution on the track with 18 laps, and Alex Van der Sant, that was a hard smash on the wall as we look on the replay, Arjuna.
Oh, and you can see the hands going to the side, trying to hang on, but I think it was a little bit too little, too late there. Watch from a bit further back here, Lorenzo, and let's ride on board with the 7 car.
Yeah, bottom line. Again, we were talking about that bottom line getting a little bit loose, right, Arjuna, on the exit out of 2, and you can totally see Van der Sant trying to counter-steer the car, but just couldn't be able to counter-steer in proper time and avoid the spin and the crash.
So, under caution then for the first time today. Working lap 19. Pit stops will be underway. Newsom followed in by the entirety of the field. Severi Seppo, who started on the outside of the front row, by the way, is now down into 6th. So, Newsom very much benefiting from the clean air, as the H.A. Musselman says in the YouTube chat. Commentators curse, and yes, I have to take full responsibility there. Van der Sant slid up the track a bit more than I expected. Up on the jacks they go for the very first time today. Is there going to be any changes in the race off of pit road? No, does not look like it, but it is close between Crane and Newsom, but no changes in the top 5.
And no changes in the top 5. Alex Van der Sant actually managed to get back to the pits, managed to repair his tires and the wings as well. We'll be able to actually get back on track. I don't know if it is going to be a lap down.
Let's take a look at the steering wheel here and see what's happening. It's 25 seconds and counting. There goes, who was that? At pretty high speeds. That's Aaron Roos still trying to get some laps back there. So great to see drivers pounding around trying to get as much as they can from this race. The rest of the cars are formed up behind the pace car now, with Newsom leading them around. Waiting to see if Van der Sant is going to be able to roll this one back out onto track, Lorenzo.
Yeah, because looking like it, Newsom is on the exit out of 4 right now, going to the start-finish line. So it could be close, but Van der Sant's repairs might be a little more extreme than we previously thought.
Does look like it, because he's still there and now officially going 1 lap down, as you can see just in the bottom right portion of the screen, coming through the quad oval. Van der Sant will go the 1 lap down. Already 21 laps through, Lorenzo, though, so you can see the tire marks from when Pereno went for his roller coaster ride. I tell you what, while we're under caution here, why don't we go and pick that replay up if we can once more?
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at Pereno's replay. Taking a little bit of the motocross, the supercross lines as they went into Atlanta not long ago, and just getting into the track a little bit, but that's unfortunate. I know Pereno, a feature guy that goes into our top split commentaries from time to time, not having the best luck here on the track. But that is a wild spin.
I will.
Van der Sant's out of the boxes of Juna.
Oh, okay. No, that's good to hear. So at least he'll be back out there if, 1 lap down, as we'll rejoin the live pictures and wait for the cars to come back down in towards turn 3 with the lights still on the pace car. So at least 1 more lap around before we get back to green. I think Arturo Amro will cycle his way through as well. I was going to say, our own Evan Pasoko, part of the Monster Jam crew, I do believe he came to AMS not too long ago, so he'll know just what it's like to see big, powerful machines going end over end and things like that. Not the same sort of tumble, but does look like Pereno, the first retirement from the race. Nate Hayden did not take the green flag, so down to just 12 cars still circulating, with Alexander Van der Sant 1 lap down. And it'll be Aaron Roos, who is 8 laps down from the leaders, but 2 crashes on the day, Lorenzo. Great to see at least the new damage model lets cars get back out there onto track.
Yeah, it's really good to see them getting back out on the track, and more surprised that the two first crashes that we had didn't fully affect the flow of the race. You know, didn't bring a yellow flag, especially on lap one, and then the perennial crash didn't even also bring a yellow flag. So it's really interesting. The dynamic of a track like this, which is much different than probably what we're going to see next week at Indianapolis.
Be interesting at Indy next week to see the balance of how the race goes on Saturday versus the race on Monday. That will be two very different tales with dynamic weather in 7 days' time. It will be very warm this weekend, not just in terms of the track temperature, but in terms of tempers as well. Green flag back out, though, with just 12 cars out on track here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and single file down in towards turn number one. Newsom leads. Adam Crane, Brendan Lichtenberg, Alex Russell, and Andrew Marquez, the top 5 positions. No real side-by-side until you go to the two cars who have been scrapping it out for quite a while. It was Tim Williams and Joe Lafilippe scrapping with Jason Wallet, and they will resume side-by-side action here.
Yeah, and they got really close, Lafilippe and Tim Williams into between 3 and 4 and nearly touched wings, but now Williams getting a little bit of advantage as Cranes goes for the move.
Outside line, can he make it work? Yes, he can. There's almost contact between the two of them, but new race leader for the very first time here on lap 24. As Alexis Newsom running now up on that high line herself. Can she do the over-under in through the quad oval? And side by side, they will work in through turn one. That was a bold move, and I wonder if now that was the main opportunity for Crane to get on past. And Newsom almost running up into the outside wall, Lorenzo.
Yeah, running really close, but if you look at it, she's still side by side with Crane going into 3. Not far behind is the Hyperstar, just lurking to see if any driver makes a mistake and goes up for one place for 2.
At the line, it will be Newsom, I think. Indeed, yes, it's Newsom that leads at the line. Almost hits the wall on the entry in towards turn number 1. That was close. Engine screaming as a car's already up into 340 km an hour. Still side by side. Neither car able to gain the kind of traction that they'd want, and that's bringing in the Hyperstar. And let's jump on board with the Team i5G driver, Lorenzo, and take a look across the start-finish line once more.
You can look at with the line that the Hyperstar is actually taking, going into a more wide line in between 1 and 2 to avoid the arrow push right here. As now he's going to get a massive launch, but cannot make the move because there is blockage on the way on Adam Crane on the inside line out of 3 and 4.
Look at how Lichtenberg runs all the way to the top side as well, just trying to find a poke of clean air. On board with Newsom on the gyro cam as we work our way through turn 1. Watch as Adam Crane is going to try and slide up the track, and he's going to slide in front as well. Newsom can't cut down underneath, and for now...
Oh, Hyperstar on the inside now, Arjuna.
Oh, and he looked to the inside to try and make something happen, but nothing doing just yet. And it's still Newsom who's trying to find a way on past. It's all about momentum, and, well, at least for now, shortest distance is winning for Crane, but I don't think he's going to be able to slide out in front this time around, Lorenzo.
No, he's not going to be able to. He's still going to be side by side with Newsom as they complete touchy wheel to wheel in between the back tracks, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on the back track section, and Lichtenberg. I wonder what's on the mind of Lichtenberg right now, because he knows. I think he knows he has the pace.
Oh,
he got so close.
There was almost contact there. Crane was very high through the corner. They make it work somehow. Wonderful camera shot down this back straightaway as we fly down in through turn 3. It's Newsom in front by a hair. There's lap traffic. It's Arturo Amro. Where does Newsom go? Finds a way past, but checks up the momentum. Here comes the Hyperstar, Lorenzo, to the outside. Newsom loses control down the pit straight.
Yeah, she loses control, locks the brakes, is now actually turned around into 1, but no yellow flag caution. She's going to lose basically 5-6 spots as she basically goes into 8th place on the track.
She's gone all the way to the tail end of the lead lap. That's now 9th position. Is going to have to build up speed again. Let's go straight to the replay and take a look at this if we can. Getting that look as they work down into turn 3. Jump on board with Newsom. Amro running a line, and what happens here? It's a bobble coming through. the quad oval. Not exactly sure what happened there, to be completely honest, Lorenzo.
Could it be a little bit of an arrow wash aided with the wayjackers, Arjuna? That's my initial thought that I got from that.
Take a look here. It's Amra who is going quite slow in comparison to the leader. And probably some sort of tire heat as well. Not the first time we've seen a car through the grass. She does a good job to at least slow that one down and bring it to a halt, but now works her way down on pit road. I wonder if that's going to be day done for the two-time winner this season in the Lionheart Speedway Series. Therefore means it's now a battle between Crane and Lichtenberg for the first position, and we are starting to get some separation here, Lorenzo, between some of these cars.
Yeah, not surprising, because midway through the season where the setup actually comes into effect, right, and how prepared you are with the setup you made for this track and the separation you get from some of the cars. Not surprising. So it's going to become a little bit of a gap race, but still that P1 battle also is very, very, very hot, as I think we have battle between Wallet and 70 Sepra.
Someone in the YouTube chat is poking fun at what my words during that little incident between Amro and Newsom, as Wallet able to get on par. 6 positions gained on the day for him. He's just as big of a mover and shaker as the Hyperstar is up in second. So if Wallet can close the gap to Marquez in front, might be looking at a podium position after starting outside the top 10. Interesting sort of dynamic we've got here with just 8 cars left on the lead lap. Newsom is back out on track, but is 2 laps down now. What a shame for our pole sitter, Lorenzo.
Yeah, it's a shame. You know, it's one of those things. If you race too hard, sometimes it's gonna bite you in the worst way possible. And unfortunate, that bubble on the transition towards the start-finish line was unfortunate for Newsom, who's I think the only multiple-time winner in the Super Speedway Series.
Yeah, it's been... No, you're 100% right. It's been a topsy-turvy season. I mean, try and get the memories of Phoenix out of our memories here just in a few hours at Gateway. That was a very stop-and-start race, and short back-to-back short tracks. Let's see if maybe back-to-back wins for someone like Tony Schowen of Adrenaline Motorsports. And, well, while Phil Kraus is the undoubted winner from the Fixed 500 after taking the broadcast win on Saturday, Tony Schowen, technically the overall champion, because the split that he won, Lorenzo, had a stronger strength of field than the one that Kraus won. So I mean, I think you'd argue that Kraus is the technical champion there. Oh no, there's a spin, and it's Amro in front of the field. We've got the caution out for the second time today.
Yeah, and Adam Crane is involved in it as well, by the way.
Oh no, is there damage to our race leader, Lorenzo?
Doesn't look like it. It wasn't the wheel-to-wheel contact between Crane and Amro and the exit out of 2, and the leader from the VRS satellite car just couldn't avoid the number 12 Arturo Amro.
I'm not going to be diplomatic here anymore. What is Amro doing there, to be completely honest, Lorenzo? I mean, not the first time he's interfered with the race leader. Spool the replay back slightly further here and watch the line and watch the speed. He's gone up to the outside. Crane's gone to the inside here. Now looks like he's trying to go to the inside, leave the space to the outside. Very unpredictable driving. What is Crane to do in the race lead there?
Yeah, they're on the voice chat arguing about this, Arjuna, and they're still trying to find who's at fault here. I'm gonna put the blame. You know, we normally talk about the back markers. You know, the number one thing about back markers, whenever you get overlapped, you got to be predictable. That doesn't matter if it's multi-class racing or even a race like this in ovals. I know the normal line for you to be overlapped is normally the outside line, but coming back on track and kind of like go for a small weave, even if it is small, and make the leader doubt, it's not good.
So back onto pit road for the second time today. This time, again, I should say under caution, it'll be Crane. No significant lasting damage. He'll be very grateful there. Leads off of pit road. Lichtenberg second. Russell third. Interesting podium here, but to be expected, given what is at stake this Saturday, Lorenzo. Brandon Traynor looks to make it 3 wins in a row. And the question on my mind is, can anyone, whether it be Powerslide, whether it be someone from Team Talent, it was Tanner Watkins who was oh so close 12 months ago, Jason Brophy as well. It's going to be an exciting race with track temperatures in excess of 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's going to be interesting as right now, actually, we started our first qualify because the week actually shuffles around midnight GMT. Right now, I think we are 4 minutes past, but we are now having the first official qualifying for the Open 500. So I know some of the teams like the i5G, Power Slide, Team Talent, Apex are all on it, and they want to get that 30 into the 33 car slot, and they're going to be all week trying to get into the 33 car slot. I was having a conversation with one of my teammates. The gap between first and 80th first a few days ago prior to the fixed 500, just 84 hundredths of a second. Just insane.
A rookie mistake there. I was muted. So lap 42 out of 133. Second caution of the day, which is not necessarily what we expected, but hopefully we can get the green flag runs going here. Don't know if the lights are off on the pace car or not. Hard to tell from these angles. It can't be, because there you can see there's lap traffic that's going to get a wave around as well, Lorenzo, and probably for the best, because I think we might have Alexander Van der Sant back onto the lead lap then.
Yeah, he is on the lead lap, and I was going to say Newsom back on the pit lane. Oh, I was going to say I actually confused myself with deliveries from Emro and Newsom, but Newsom not far behind, so she's going to get a wave around too. But she still might be a lap down.
Yeah, I think she'll still be a lap down, but you never know. If we get one more caution, she might be able to cycle her way through. Championship points on offer. It's going to be an opportunity for Adam Crane to close the gap. The points that we looked at before in the pre-show, Lorenzo, they were all not including the drop weeks, which of course come into effect here on an official iRacing championship. So maybe in the next 2 rounds we have to start factoring those into our outcomes.
Yeah, because we just have 2 more rounds, right? We have Indianapolis. We have basically the aftermath or the after party of the Open 500, and then we have Belle Isle, and that's pretty much it, right? So I think there might be 1 drop week because already the 2 drop week because we raced 8 weeks already this season. We're on week 10, so the 2-week drop, I think it is in fact over here. So it's going to be interesting for some of these drivers. I think Bill Blocker might be in the lead even with the drop weeks.
Not sure if Blocker's even going to be back on action in 7 days' time because, of course, Indy 500 this weekend. He might want a bit of a break after being at the Brickyard for a couple of weeks back-to-back. What a race it was this past weekend. Romain Grosjean started on pole, didn't finish that way, but very much standing up on, I think, the first track that he's probably going to feel relatively comfortable at, given prior experience. But the pace car back down onto the safety of pit lane. Adam Crane holds them for a very long time. And Alexander Van der Sant has lost it by himself in the background. It's a bumpy exit of turn number 4. And not the first time, Lorenzo. Someone's got caught out on a restart here.
Yeah, just going way too wild on the accelerator. You know, cold tires and the weight jackers influenced that a little bit. And he says sorry on the text chat, but still under green.
Can Lichtenberg do the same thing that Crane did to Newsom on the restart? Momentum building up for both of them side by side in towards turn number 1. It will be Brendan Lichtenberg on the outside. Look at Russell lurking, Lorenzo, trying to find a way through.
And not far behind also, you can see Andrew Marquez coming in closer, but just playing a little more conservative than they actually would have, because we know Marquez is going to be aggressive at some points. But he's doing really well so far on this restart.
Doing good, but can't get the momentum, either of them, just yet. Top 4 breaking away from Wallet very slightly. Marquez starting to go into no man's land, if you ask me. Need to try and get right onto the tail end of these cars. Going to approach lap 50 in a couple of moments' time here. Let's see if we can get a green flag run. Top 4 have broken away. 1 second now between 4th and 5th, Lorenzo. They're still side by side with Lichtenberg, unable to get on through. Now, looks like it might even be cooling down here, Lorenzo. Started with relatively sunny skies, and you can see it is very much getting dark here in Hotlanta.
Yeah, but track temperatures actually increased a little bit. It was 44 when we started Arjuna, and now it is 47 degrees Celsius, so nearly on the 120s.
And you can follow along with all of that on racespot.wtf/Indy. Timing 71 has you updated with weather conditions in the iRacing service. So we'll take a look at maybe tire temperatures not building up over the course of the run. Maybe we'll see side by side more and more. Crane is getting a bit more aggressive in the defense, sliding up the track and then jinking down to the inside, Lorenzo.
Yeah, trying to stay as close to the middle line as he can, but Lichtenberg just getting some considerable good runs on the outside line, but not enough to get closer to the VRS satellite driver.
It's the status quo out front. No real battle either between Wallet, Seppa, and Williams, so Van der Sant has gathered things up, but he might become traffic in just a few moments' time. He's lapping in the 27s the last time around. The leader's doing 25.5s. 19 seconds adrift, so give it 3 laps, and Adam Crane, Brendan Lichtenberg will have to contend with lap traffic once more.
Yeah, because right ahead of him, again, is Arturo Amro. It looks like he's on the entry out of 3 as Lichtenberg is going to get that run on the outside again as Crane defends once more.
Not sure exactly how I'd play this one if I was either of these drivers, because it's as much of a pack race as you really can get now, and I guess you're just waiting until the last 10 laps, 20 laps, Lorenzo, to make sure that you can nose yourself in front come the checkered flag.
I say 25 if I am to give it a little bit more of a rough estimate, because we can actually play with some of the tires a little bit and the setups, but then again, it comes with the cost of the car getting really loose on the tail end as they're gonna overlap Amro.
No! What are you doing, Arturo Amro? He has wrecked the leaders for the 3rd time today, and this time for Adam Crane. That is gonna be day done. The VRS satellite racing driver is in the wall here, Lorenzo.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it what I'm seeing. As we look on the replay, you're going to see Amro just going to into the outside line. I don't know if Amro's car is getting loose, but he comes into the line of Adam Crane.
He looks like he's getting loose, but why is he still out there on track at that point, to be completely honest? I mean, he's taken at least one car out of this race now. Alexis Newsom is still out there, but she's down from the race lead in 11th. One more look at it here. Maybe Crane can be going a little bit lower, but I'm speechless. I'm, for the first time here on RaceSpotTV, lost for words, Lorenzo.
You and I, buddy, because I'm lost for words. I cannot make this up properly. You're saying sorry, but I don't know. You've been a factor twice. I know it's not the race you can get. Sometimes you don't get the race you want to have, even though it's going to be a bad race. But this is total nightmare. It basically gives Lichtenberg the lead at this race, effectively.
And for Crane, I mean, we were just talking about him in the championship picture. I mean, this was probably one of the few chances this week that we were going to get a decent strength of field. So for him, well, you can see he's parked in his box there. He is going to be fuming. He is going to be livid with what he has seen. And I think I saw a message from Alexis Newsom as well in the session chat there, Lorenzo. Switch for the race lead, though, as the Hyperstar is going to come out behind new race leader Alexander Russell.
Yeah, Alex Russell taking the lead from the Hyperstar. So Hyperstar's lead was basically short-lived, just one lap as they gets overtaken by Russell. Russell having a really good race. I don't think we saw Russell on previous broadcasts, but if it is a debut, I think this is the debut for him to remember for now.
Well, good luck to Alexander Russell. Let's focus on the good things that can happen from here, right? Let's not focus on the bad. Van der Sant will... Is that Van der Sant, or who's that? That must be...
I think it's Roofs.
Oh, that will be Roofs, so he'll be back now on 5 laps down, so chipping away at the gap there. And I think
Newsom might be on the lead lap now because she was a lap behind and she's the first car a lap down.
No, she's going to still be 1 lap down. I think she had to come down onto pit road this time, so not able to cycle through on the leaders as Van der Sant will come down onto pit road, stays on the lead lap. We didn't take a look at the incident with Van der Sant, so let's quickly go take a look at that as well. There is lots of communication, I think, going on everywhere. Van der Sant was even checked up behind Amro. I'm not sure if he was maybe just trying to get out of the way there, but an interesting little tumble there that he goes for. He'll have a very interesting report card to share at the end of today's race, I would think, as we work our way towards halfway in this action here, Lorenzo. Round 10 of this championship, and well, no major championship players, but still a very interesting story being woven here.
Yeah, some interesting stories being developed in this race, and probably the wildest race we probably had in the, can I say, the past 3 or 4 weeks we've been commentating together this series, Arjuna?
I don't know. It's been a bit less exciting than the first couple of rounds where it was wild to kick off this championship.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of devolved rather into the same kind of power slide show at the top of the standings, but some interesting squabbles in the meantime. Now it's all about the new faces, and let's see what Alex Russell can do here. First time on a Monday night, if I'm remembering correctly, in the race lead, and that's been the place that you want to be here, Lorenzo.
Yeah, and as I think that is Roof's getting the wave around, and the car lights will go down, so we're going to have restart on the next lap. And Newsom's still behind, the 1 lap behind. And she actually came down with the leaders. That's why she's not a lot of lap ahead.
So, pace lights are off. I have a feeling that our viewer count probably bumped up a little bit recently with all of the drama here today. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling there'll be some clips being taken and shared with Nim Cross and his team at the iRacing office. And of course, they're the ultimate arbiters of stuff like this, Lorenzo. The unfortunate or fortunate thing, depending on how you look at official races, no live race control. It's all handled, after the fact.
Yeah, I think some protests will be coming up to the steward's office after this race. Of course, they have to wait an hour for it, but it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
So, pace car back down onto the safety of pit lane. Van der Sant is starting on the inside. Can he avoid spinning up the tires? It's a slow start. Oh, there's almost contact between Seppa and Williams, but they just about get things sorted, and across the start line we go. An estimated 30 minutes left in today's race. And so the cars will build up the speed, and we will see if Russell can hold off the i5G driver. Look at the speed down the back straightaway here, Lorenzo, down into turn number 3. Lichtenberg already looking for the race lead.
I think not only looking for the race lead, he is the race lead right now. And Andrew Marquez now is on the hunt, not far behind as he hunts down Russell into 1.
And so now the door is flung wide open. Who is going to take victory here? And it might even be Severi Seppa, who started on the outside of the front row, cycling his way back to the front of the field. Working lap 60 at the line. It's Lichtenberg up 7, one of the biggest movers on the day. Can Williams or Wallet do something better? Here comes Russell back to the outside line as we jump on board with Andrew Marquez here, Lorenzo, taking a look at this battle for the race lead.
Yeah, Marquez again on the sniper position, as you can see Russell on the inside line now making the move on Lichtenberg. Will take the lead out of 4, but still will be side by side with the Hyperstar.
I wonder here, Lorenzo, if maybe there's some fuel games going on. If Lichtenberg can slot into line and run map 2 or something here, which is going to be a topic this Saturday in the IndyCar, Indy 500, because fuel maps in this IR18 can very much play a factor. But excuse what I'm saying. Here comes the Hyperstar, looking once more for the race lead in through turn 4.
Oh, and Russ, I think, nearly clipped the white line on the bottom of the track, nearly got loose into it, and Lichtenberg on the entry out of 3 nearly grazed the wall on the outside wall.
Oh, I'm also a bit distracted, by the way, just so everyone knows. because IndyCar qualifying has begun, Lorenzo, it does also mean the most interesting and toxic of weeks sometimes for the IndyCar community is underway as all sorts of drama starts to play out because the lap times are coming in. Of course, 4 lap averages, like in the real world as well, which will be taking place this Saturday as well. 35 cars vying for 33 spots. Here on the iRacing service, it's thousands of drivers vying for just 33 spots, and they get whittled down over the course of 5 days of qualifying to the final 33 cars.
Is the ultimate grind router, Juno. Basically, you go every hour on the halfway hour mark. You go into a qualify and you grind and you grind and you grind for maybe get 1/2000 of a second taken away from your average, which is interesting. They use time average over here on the real life. They use speed, which is sometimes it's an interesting measurement they do in IndyCar for the 500.
Well, speed, lap time, I mean, it all equates to the same thing. Just depends how you want to translate it. I tell you what, let's have a quick interview here. It's still side by side for the race lead. Adam Crane, who was in this leading battle. Adam, I mean, you must be pretty frustrated and upset at what happened there. Just talk us through not one but 2 incidents with lap traffic from your point of view.
Yeah, it was super disappointing way to end what was going to slate out to be at least a good race, if not a good finish, for some good points, especially with everything going on with Indy in the open qualifying, as well as Atlanta not being all that popular track, really difficult to drive this week. Yeah, the first incident with Arturo, I was following behind Alexis, and he was on the outside and sort of cut between both of us, but sort of stopped right through the dog leg right in front of me, which I mean, okay, it was a little erratic, but then the second one, the second proper one, off of 2, I'm not sure what happened. Like, he was all the way out towards the wall, and then came down and gave me a lane on the outside, and that's sort of where I went, and he just sort of slid up a little bit, and I caught the right rear of his car, which, I mean, obviously I don't intend to wreck anyone or anything. It was accidental, I guess, just sort of a miscommunication or a lack of control on his part. But interestingly, or not so interestingly, I got some PMs after that sort of indicated to me that the contact that happened later, which ended my race, was intentional, which I don't think anyone on the service wants to see. So it's just a real sad day for the VRS satellite racing car coming through with what's probably a result it didn't deserve.
Well, let's try and look on, I guess, brighter things and the week ahead in qualifying. What's it looking like for you? There's obviously so much effort from the entire community going in. You at the VRS Satellite Racing team are relatively small in terms of your IndyCar operation. How has the preparation been going, and how much are you looking forward to the week-long grind that is qualifying here?
Yeah, qualifying for Indy, I've only attempted a couple times. Once I made the field, once I didn't. And being part of a team that is really prioritizing Indy makes me really appreciate all the work that gets put in and the work that needs to get put in order to make the field of 33. So definitely happy to be having some shoulders and hands that we can sort of lean on to spread some testing load. But obviously, like you said, this week is one of the most critical weeks for IndyCar and the IndyCar community, so going to have to try to put everything we can into it in order to make the field.
And for those who don't understand the challenge of IndyCar qualifying, I mean, you take out as much downforce as you can, you take as much confidence as you can into the car as well, and then for 4 laps you have to nail 16 corners, trying not to slide the car too much, adjusting the in-car tools. It's a roller coaster ride. How much are you expecting to be actually running the qualifying session in terms of the grind there? Because the good thing is, or bad thing, depending on how you look at it, is you have, unlimited opportunities to go out there and nail the perfect qualifying lap.
Yeah, I'll definitely be running a few. What's nice is that we have a few days here where we can try running a few attempts, and then if we feel like we really need to change some things based on what other people are doing or improvements we think we can make to the car, to find those extra thousandths, which is literally what it comes down to. Then I'm happy that we have a little bit of time. Obviously, we'd like a little bit more, but certainly it makes it quite a bit more stressful, which is part of the fun.
Well, thanks for jumping in, Adam. Disappointing end to your race, but good luck for the week ahead, and hopefully we see you in action this Saturday in the 12th annual iRacing Indy 500.
For sure. Thanks a lot, guys.
So, I mean, you could hear the disappointment in his voice. Great to talk to the VRS Satellite Racing driver on board with second place, Alexander Russell. What a day it has been for him so far. Started on the outside of the second row. Now works a podium position, 1 second behind Team i5G's Brendan Lichtenberg. Andrew Marquez in a championship squabble with the one car, finds himself on the outside of the podium positions, or the very last podium position. What can he do to get on past this number 11 car, Lorenzo? Working about the middle portion of a fuel window here. The cars very much single filing themselves out.
Yeah, it's starting to become a little bit of a gap race, but Marquez still has a little bit of a draft range to work with. It was within about 0.6 of a second from Alex Russell as they come out of 2. I think for now Marquez just needs to focus on keep the tires as cool as possible for the ladder run, right? Whenever you are within the final 10 laps of your stint, wherever you can be a little more aggressive, the cars can get a little bit lighter, and then you can be a little bit more aggressive and try to make the overtake prior to your final pit stop.
And so lap 77 out of 133, past the halfway marker in today's action. Race hasn't necessarily dragged on like one may have speculated, but I think the cautions that we have, that there are going to be some questions that need to be answered in the conclusion of this race. And it's not what you want to see here on RaceSpotTV, but sometimes you just have to call it as it is, Lorenzo. And that the third incident in particular, the first one with Newsom, miscommunication, whatever. Second one, okay, maybe you need to start being a bit more careful. But you know the saying, right? Third time, whatever it is. The first time, my bad. Second time, it's just not the way that you need to be acting as lap traffic here today.
It's a track that takes no prisoners in terms of traffic. It is very hard for you to beat the back marker. I think it is harder for you to beat the back marker here than you're actually making the overlap. With my experience on this track, as now Marquez gets really close on Alex Russell, but there's also the saying that lightning doesn't strike twice, right? I think it did for Adam Crane, even though the turns are not the same, but it is unfortunate nevertheless. But this is one of the tracks there. The possibility of these confusions and the traffic happen often, so unfortunate but not fully surprised.
And so month of May, I mean, how exciting is it? We haven't really talked about the NTT IndyCar Series races over the weekend. The NTT IndyCar race, excuse me, not a double header, but of course the Indy GP always taking place on Saturday. We saw Przemysław Laminek on last Monday, Lorenzo, competing in his team owner's livery, the pink healthcare ad, if you will. Then on Friday, goes to pole position. Saturday starts the race, finishes in second, ultimately loses to Rinus VeeKay, but a very popular podium there from the Brickyard.
Yeah, I was looking at the interview that Grosjean made it for the broadcaster after the race, and everybody on the crowd, because there was a crowd. It isn't full crowd like we're probably going to get next year. I think this year is going to be 50% of the crowd, and 50% still big crowd nevertheless at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Everybody was happy for Roman, and he actually admitted on interviews that he might be starting to look for houses in the United States, because I think he actually starting to like that car.
Well, he made the joke that he's looking for houses in the U.S., and I'm sure his wife was very appreciative of his quick humor there, but it sounds like this is the long-term future for I guess we've got to go over all the different ways that the broadcasters pronounce his name, but we'll stick with Romain Grosjean. It was interesting with the VCO Pro Sim Series, Lorenzo, because of course you had Romain Grosjean partnered with Thomas Petitjean. So for those who speak French, you had Little Jean and Big Jean.
Yeah, you have Petit. Yeah,
I got you to laugh there, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, I only understood now the Petit Jean.
Well, as Adam Blocker, who has jumped into the YouTube chat, has said, everyone excited about the young Rinus VeeKay taking victory, ending a 14-plus year drought for Dutch drivers in IndyCar competition. Hello, Adam, by the way. Hope you're doing well from the Brickyard. I'm sure you've been busy trackside as the teams have been converting their cars from road spec to oval spec in some cases, or for the slightly bigger operations, switching engines from one car to another. That process is done. Cars roll out onto track tomorrow, I believe, for practice. Very interested to see what the timing sheets look like. Everyone was happy for Rinus, his parents especially. That was a pretty cool moment to see just how excited they were on the pit wall. The only disappointing factor, if you were Rinus, though, is the fact that you didn't get alcohol on the podium, because Rinus is not 21 years old, and so in the US, Lorenzo, he was only allowed, I believe it was sparkling grape juice.
Sparkling grape juice. I think, if I recall correctly, Rinus is 19 or is 20, so he's getting close. So I think if he gets a win next year, he might be slated to get that champagne. But nevertheless, I think in 2 weeks, the thing is not champagne, it's the milk, and I think milk in Indianapolis might be more important than champagne at the end of the race. But Rinus, I think, first podium since Robert Dornbos back in the Indy, in the Champ car in 2007, if I recall correctly.
And it's so long ago. It's unbelievable. And there was an interesting picture of Max Verstappen and Rinus VeeKay circa, I believe it was 2001. If I remember correctly, and I must say I started to feel very old when I saw that picture in the year that was stamped next to it. In terms of the on-track action, Lichtenberg about to come across the line to tick away lap 89 onto 90. 2.1 seconds clear of Alex Russell in the 11, with Andrew Marquez now 1.3 back, rounding out the podium positions. There's about 1 and a bit seconds separating every single car on the lead lap. Still got 8 of them. Alexander Van der Sant is still out there and circulating, but in danger of going 1 lap down to the Hyperstar.
Far behind.
Alexis Newsom still out there in 9th as well. She'll be hoping for some sort of calamity to come out, Lorenzo, so she can get back onto the leading lap here.
Yeah, I think for Alexis, I think this is the worst. If we can cut this part of the weekend, I think it is the worst weekend. And I just saw the Lichtenberg on my feed here, nearly clapping the wall. But Newsom had a really good run in the Indy Fixed 500. He was actually the cause of Philip Krause winning the 500, because she crashed in the start-finish line. And for her, that had promises of getting a top 5, maybe a top 10, all the way down of not getting even getting a DNF. I think this might be a race where she wanted to rebound, but unfortunately not having the lucky day for her.
Looking at the Hyperstar, working lap 37, so we are working our way into the pit stop window, and at any moment now drivers could come down and effectively split this race in half from the last caution. And so now looks like the Hyperstar going to be a bit comfortable in that battle with Marquez. This will be a good points opportunity for the 1 car, and always interesting looking at the iRatings coming into races like this, Lorenzo, where you can use the car numbers. Lichtenberg and Marquez, who are 4th and 5th in the championship, 1 and 2 here in the session today.
Yeah, respectively, driving with those top-level drivers and keeping up with them, right? Whenever Krause, whenever Blocker, Bennett, Trano, whenever he drove, and even Graham Sanders whenever he drove on the roads, and even John Voss on the roads as well, was keeping up with them. So it's interesting, to see these drivers, getting the spotlight, the top 3 I-rated drivers for once in our championship. Even though it puts pressure on them, of course. You really don't want to be the number 1 driver in the split.
Well, is it pressure, or is it the fear of losing I-rating? But, well, I guess a bit of both, right? Both. Yeah, so lap 96 now on the cards. Who's that still parked in pit road? I believe that's Adam Crane, who has been there for 21 minutes and counting. And since it's a bit slow here, let's go and take a look in that car if we can. Still missing the front right. And I'm sure his pit crew not going to worry too much about getting that car fixed up and repaired. I kind of alluded to it when we were talking to Crane, Lorenzo. One of the things that some people always want to change about the iRacing Indy 500 qualifying procedure is limited, attempts to get out there and compete. So you don't get the full week, and like I did last year, so many attempts that I went down from an A to a B license because I spun off of pit road so many different times.
Please.
I was a bit of a noob last year, to be completely honest. Let's be real, but
okay.
It's that kind of a pressure factor. What we see in the month of November with the Open Wheels 500, where you only get a limited number of shots to roll out onto track and set your fastest lap time. And indeed, the added pressure that you see both in the real life and the month of November here on the iRacing service. If you set a lap time, go back out onto track, you lose your previous run. And we saw it in dramatic fashion here on RaceSpotTV on Saturday in Open Wheels 500 qualifying in the 2020 edition of the race. Matt Pavelski, I remember that. Looked like his first run might have been good enough. He went out for a second glory run, binned it, and then decided to risk his third and final run in the closing stages of that Saturday session, live on RaceSpotTV. It was tense, but he managed to nail it, Lorenzo, and locked himself into the race.
Yeah, a lot. And I keep wondering, what is the worst thing you really want to have? Because some of the drivers, they think they are comfortable. All right, I got maybe a 39.5, 39.6, because that was the threshold in the fixed one. So they basically got like 39.650. I think that was Constantini what actually got it whenever he got pole. And Michele didn't drive this weekend. He's basically focused on driving the Open. He basically got the qualifying as a form for you to practice. So those things, as we see Wallet in the pit lane, so the pit has started, the pit window has started. Is it one of those interesting things? What is the worst things for you? Thinking that you are comfortable and but you have that thought back in your mind, I need to do better, or you are grazing the 33 field and you have to do better. Well, what is the worst thing?
The good news is I've never actually had to put myself in that position. I've just got to watch on from the commentary booth and deal with that tension. I love it. It's one of the things that when RaceSpot was devising the ISOWC, we knew we needed bumping, because there is just something about requiring pressure in qualifying to nail your runs, whether it be having a car limit, as we see Russell down onto pit road and into his box. Important stop here in the battle for second with Andrew Marquez. Whether it be that pressure of not having the crash, whether it be such a strong field and you only get 10 minutes to get out there and set your fastest lap time. It's about putting the pressure on the world's finest sim racers. That's what we get every day here on the iRacing service. It's wonderful. Here comes Marquez, by the way, already up to speed, Lorenzo, as Alexander Russell through the access road. He loses control. He's going to spin back up into the track. Oh, disaster for Alexander Russell midway through the pit cycle, and I wonder how this is going to affect the last 30 laps of our race.
And I think there's one more thing. Lichtenberg he was actually got caught on the yellow flag in the pit lane. As we look on the replay here, just too much acceleration. Try to go on the what would be the more flat part of the apron, just not working.
Oh, heartbreak. Not the first time on a Monday as well. Drivers have been so impressive here. And it ends in disaster. It ends on pit road. If you are Alexander Russell, take a look at the RaceSpotTV replay and the onboard look from the right-hand side of driver's eye. And he is so tentative. It is so bumpy. It is so slippy. He loses control. And Alexis Newsom very fortunate to not take out the number 11 car as well.
Yeah, the 11 car just gets really lucky in there, but that's that's unfortunate. Really unfortunate that you are within the realms of getting top 3, and then in a pit stop you go at the flattest part of the track. I heard that bank section actually has more grip than the flat part of the apron. So unfortunate that Russell was caught in it, but that brings Alex into the fray.
Alexis is back on the lead lap, you're right. Joe Lafilippe and Newsom down onto pit road, then under caution. Andrew Marquez will cycle to the lead of this race. Brendan Lichtenberg up to second with Seppa in third. All right. Oh, wait. No, I misread my timing screen. It's Tim Williams who's in second then. We've got a big shake-up here. So Marquez from Williams from Lichtenberg, then Seppa and Newsom, the top 5.
Yeah, I think some of the drivers, went for the pit lane a little bit earlier and got advantage out of it. So it didn't give some mix-ups in the track. So this is going to be some interesting final laps here in this race, Arjuna, because nobody has to care about fuel. We're going to have about 27 laps, 26 laps left in whenever restart. Oh, this is going to be wild.
This restart is going to be insane because if you're Lichtenberg, you know you can't afford to lose any time here. Some lap traffic going to cycle on through. That will be Jason Wallet cycling back to the end of the leading lap. And I believe Alexander Van de Sant is 1 lap down. I'm not sure who that second car is. It must be Aaron Roos, who is still out there and pounding away the laps. And indeed, Roof's down on pit road. So 13 cars took to the green flag. Believe we might just be down to 9 cars still circulating here.
Yeah, 9 cars, and should we count Alex Vanderson? He's a lap down, but can we count him as a possible factor if we get another yellow flag? Because he's not far behind.
Well, would the cars pit again if the caution came out again? I think that's the question. I'm not sure. Let's. Oh, the YouTube chat is popping, even though it's relatively quiet on a Monday night. I'm enjoying the interaction here. The track temperature's slightly risen here, back up to 49 degrees Celsius, and we saw a couple of cars losing the rear end coming out of turn 2 and turn 4, Lorenzo. Maybe not just the bumps. You can see the wind, 18 kilometers an hour. You combine that with the bumps, with the weight jacker adjustments. Who knows? So many factors could be throwing cars around here.
Yeah, winds are to the northwest, now pointing north. I just said northwest, then I looked at the surface. It is pointing north. So it might give a little bit of a speed and make the car slightly lighter if we are to say the start-finish line pointing to the north, right, Arjuna? So it might make them lighter out of 4, but it might give them slight air resistance into the exit out of 2, so they might have to give some interesting adjustments to the weight jackers as we're probably going to get ready for the restart with about 26 to go.
I know you missed the first couple of rounds, Lorenzo, here in the RaceSpotTV commentary booth, but I must say I'm enjoying this action today. Not necessarily what we expected, but always fun when we can show up here in the first race of a new week. You know, there's excitement with the month of May. It's just been a fun little time here. 26 laps to go at the line. It will be a sprint to the checkered flag.
It will be a sprint to the checkered flag, and Marquez is going to have a prime position. You know, he's going to be facing the wind. Oh, but Williams is going to... I feel bad for Williams because he has Lichtenberg, he has Seppa, and Newsom now. And we know how Newsom was strong on the first start of the race. So I can't wait to see this restart because the last restart, they kind of got closer to one another and they nearly had to check up.
That's right. I forgot about that, to be completely honest. It's the Indy Alliance team that are 4th and 5th with Seppa and Newsom. They started on the front row. What can they do now from that position? It will be the pace car back down onto the safety of the pit road. At the front, Andrew Marquez, for the very first time, brings us back to the green flag action as it does look as though 7 cars still on the leading lap here. It's already the Hyperstar looking to try and use the draft of both Marquez and Williams to find a way up into second and around the outside. What can he do here, Lorenzo?
You can see that Williams tried to go for the inside line, but the Hyperstar just getting too much action on the outside and now goes for the move, neat and done, goes into P2 the Hyperstar.
Nicely done there. Now sets up for the race lead. Already 360 kilometers an hour across the start-finish line and side by side for the race lead. Team I5G back out front as the Hyperstar makes it look, I must say, very, very easy. That's Alexander Russell rolling his way back out onto track, Lorenzo. 6 laps down, he'll be still looking for a top 10 finish.
He said on the YouTube chat, don't count him out. He can still drive. I want to see how effective the car drives. You know, he's 5 laps down. But Marquez actually trying to put up a fight on the Hyperstar, the #1 car of Lichtenberg.
Oh, Seppo almost up into the outside wall. That checks him up. Does his teammate scramble down the inside? Newsom looks for it and gets on through as well. Oh, Seppo washed up the track. It was oh so close for a moment there. And the Finnish driver just about holds on to the front wing of his car. For the race lead, though, side by side, Lorenzo Marquez tries to get on through. Lichtenberg not having any of it for now.
Yeah, not having it for now, as even though he tried to put some pressure in it, uses the draft, he's going to get close, try to look on the inside line. There's no room for him to make the overtake. He's going to tuck back, going to the draft. Meanwhile, here, Arjuna, Newsom now into third.
Nicely done. She is rocketing her way up through the field. It's not just Van der Sande who will be back in action in just about an hour's time here on RaceSpotTV. It'll be Newsom as well, looking for her third victory of the season, ducking and diving for the race lead. It was close for a moment. In through turn 4. It's close, but not close enough. At the line, it will still be Lichtenberg. 21 laps to go here, Lorenzo. I think Brendan Lichtenberg is looking very comfortable to take victory here today.
I'm actually thinking that as well, but the thing is, if you're Lichtenberg, I think you have to seal the deal right now. You have to break away a little bit from Andrew Marquez, because we know Andrew, on some restart, he can get really fast, and he might lose a little bit of pace in between. But if they keep battling like this, Newsom's not far behind. If she gets within maybe 8-10 seconds, tenths of a second, she can actually become a factor in this. We know Newsom is very good on these turns of speedways.
Look at this, though. Here comes Marquez for a moment, just searches for clean air in through turn 3 now. Lichtenberg says, well, you want clean air, I'll feed you some dirty air. He has to check up his momentum. Across the start-finish line, single file they go. 1 second back to Newsom in third. And what can the pole position sitter do? 19 laps to go here. There's a battle going on for 4th and 5th as well between Seppa and Tim Williams, but off of the corner, it's still almost side by side for the race lead, Lorenzo. These two are fighting each other tooth and nail, and it's all about 4th place in the championship.
All about 4th place, even though it seems like irrelevant right now, but every position you get in this championship matters, especially with those two tricky final rounds to come. And Newsom, now she's getting some effects of the jump. Oh, she gets loose!
Holds on to it. What car control on display there, and we will go straight to the RaceSpotTV replay machine and jump on board with Alexis Newsom here and ride through the roller coaster at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Take a look at this one, Lorenzo. 300 kilometers an hour, and she just about holds on to this.
Just about. What amazing car control. The car gets really loose, and you can see now, car gets loose, she counter steers immediately, just lifts off the gas slightly. She loses a bit of time. But I think this is the save of the season, in my honest opinion.
One more look. I mean, look at how slight the correction is as well. I tell you what, we'll jump onto the cockpit cam, the visor cam that we've got here. Super slow-mo. It is maybe 10 degrees to the right here, 15 degrees. Just the lightest of counter steers, catches the car, corrects back to the center. And oh, wonderful control to hold on to the podium positions as well. She's still only 1 second adrift from second place, so don't count out Alexis Newsom from potentially trying to get into the battle for second. But I do think, like we were mentioning just a few moments ago, Lorenzo, Brendan Lichtenberg looks very comfortable and now 4/10 clear of second place.
Yeah, managing to break away a little bit from Andrew Marquez. And the thing is, I want to bring Newsom as something happens in the background with my dogs, but Newsom actually got loose on the entry exit on 2 laps ago, and she actually grazed the wall.
Maybe some damage there, and the lap time was 1 and a bit tenths slower, as it's Marquez almost rim riding the wall there. Top 5 still separated by only 2.7 seconds as Lorenzo's dogs go wild for the action here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We are in Hampton, Georgia here today with 2 rounds of this championship left to go after this one. It's been a wild ride. Lots of different winners here over the course of the season and our Monday night strength of field races. It's still power slide at the top of the championship standings though. Their drivers focusing on the Indy 500 qualifying that lies in front of them here today. I'm trying to take a look at these lap times, Lorenzo, but I tell you what, there's too much action on screen as well. I think we should probably focus on the next 12 laps here, and then after that we can go and look at the lap times from the first qualifying attempts.
Yeah, we can actually let's focus on this. I think this is more important for now because this has big implications in the championship. Then we can talk about the tryhards out of qualifying. Yeah, I took a little bit of a shot right there.
Lorenzo's going to be in trouble here in the RaceSpotTV booth as on board with Marquez, as we can see the gap to Newsom has opened up, but only slightly. Newsom is holding her teammate back very adeptly as well. It will be 10 laps to go at the line this time around for the Hyperstar as the shooting stars emerge in the YouTube chat for the i5G driver. And out of turn 4, it will be 15 miles left to go here in round 10 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Championship. Wonderful to have coverage here on RaceSpotTV of the entire season, thanks to an anonymous donor. I hope you are watching and enjoying here on your Mondays. And thanks to the IndyCar community as well. We are a couple of weeks away from a new build and question marks about what will come in that. But what we do know for the next season in this iRacing Open IndyCar Championship, once more, RaceSpotTV will have coverage, thanks to the community that have come together to raise the funds to have it live on RaceSpotTV. So that will be fun, Lorenzo, as I guess for a third season in a row, we will have some sort of coverage here on a Monday night IndyCar action.
I'm quite happy to have the IndyCar coming back. I'm starting to feel, you know, you were a rookie last season. I'm still a rookie of sorts. I'm starting to get into the grooves of this car. I actually signed up for 2 Brazilian championships in the IndyCar, so I'm starting to feel the love that I'm getting with this car. Also, getting some improvements here at my home for the wheels, getting a little bit more comfortable with the IR18. So I can't wait to drive more and more of this car. I take a few laps and I love what this car gives it to you. Probably one of the best cars, if not the best car in the service today.
Same thing that Yao Vaz has been saying as he's been adapting to the IR18 after open wheel contender in multiple open wheel cars as well. World Championship contender, rather, excuse me, in open wheel cars. And saying that the IR18 is potentially the most fun that he's had since the Williams FW31 days. If that doesn't speak to the work that the iRacing team have put into with this car. Yes, it's got its issues, but, I mean, it works out so wonderfully for drivers all across the globe to find their way onto the iRacing service and compete against one another, not just in official competition, but across the leagues as well. 5 laps to go, and Lichtenberg well and truly in control here. We're watching Severi Seppa here, chasing down his teammate Alexis Newsom for that final podium position.
Yeah, but last lap was about one 100 of a second slower than Newsom. She did a 26.7, whereas Seppa did a 26.8 in the previous lap. But it's been going up and down, but the chase is still on, even though we are nearly like at the end of the race. So I think for Seppa right now, just trying to keep the car on track for now.
Gap out front, 1.3, looking comfortable then. If there's damage for Newsom, it's not slowing her down as much as it was earlier in the action. And so with 3 laps to go, can she hold on from being 2 laps down at one point in time for a podium finish here today? I'm like I said, Lorenzo, I'm loving the interaction in the YouTube chat today, and hopefully we see some of these drivers back in action in 7 days' time once we head back to the Brickyard. I know there can sometimes be some...
Oh! I think... Arjuna, sorry, but I think Newsom just raced so hard the wall, nearly got some... I think she has some damage on the car.
Oh, and there comes her teammate to try and take advantage. Will she hold on even to 4th? Down considerably, 20 kph into the corner. There goes Seppa. Back into 3rd at the very least. After starting on the outside of the front row, he'll be delighted at least to recover back there. White flag in the air then for your race leader. It's been a wild ride. 1.5 miles left to go here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It'll be Team i5G that takes the victory here today. Lichtenberg versus Marquez. It's the 4th and 5th in the championship, and with the regular contenders gone and focused on activities at the Brickyard. They went to the front of the field. A bit of controversy with multiple leaders getting caught out with lap traffic. That doesn't matter. It's a checkered flag, and it is out for Brendan Lichtenberg in round 10 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Championship. It will be Marquez across the line in second. Severi Seppa into the podium positions at the very closing stages there, Lorenzo. Heartbreak for your pole sitter, Alexis Newsom.
Yeah, heartbreak for Alexis Newsom, but this is racing sometimes. I was looking at her for a few laps here, Arjuna. The car was just so loose into two, and eventually this probably would have been bound to happen, but still getting P5 after the disaster she had with the Arturo Amaro incident, the first one of the three, and still getting top 5 is just, I think she will be pleased with her recovery drive.
Donuts on the agenda for the Hyperstar as he burns it down on the pit straightaway. A nice little area there that the quad oval does present. Wild ride, lots of cars right from the get-go. I mean, opening couple of laps, we had 2 cars that found themselves turned around. No caution until lap traffic started to play a bit of a factor. At the end of the day, though, it is Brendan Lichtenberg down in victory lane. Let's take a look at our race results here in round 10 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Championship. Brendan Lichtenberg victor by 2 seconds from Andrew Marquez. That battle for 4th and 5th in the championship will heat up as we head back to the Brickyard next time out on a Monday. Severi Seppa started in second, finishes in third. That's not an easy story, though, that he had to get there. With Alexis Newsom, similarly difficult day, at 2 laps down at one point, does recover to finish in 4th. Tim Williams in 5th with Joe Lafilippe in 6th. Jason Wallet, the last car on the lead lap, in 7th, with Alexander Van der Sant recovering to 8th. Russell recovers to 9th. Disappointing finish for him, but so much pace shown earlier in the action. Aaron Roos rounds out then the top 10 with Adam Crane, Arturo Amaro, Diego Pereno, and Nate Hayden not seeing the checkered flag in a rather short grid here today, Lorenzo, and we'll make things quick here in our post-show, but I'll wrap things up and hand the tracks back over to the marshals. RaceSpotTV has a quick journey to go from Atlanta to Gateway for the Lionheart Speedway Series, but we'll head back to the Brickyard in a week's time. Sometimes there is Indy fatigue. I was saying that just before Newsom hit the wall in the closing stage of the race. Lots of Indy action over the last couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll still see a strong field in that short race.
Yeah, we're still going to see a very strong field. I think there will be, the aftermaths, people who, just can't take Indy anymore, but they're going to do one Indy nevertheless because the championship matters. Even though it is the 500 week and they want to get prepared for the 500. So it's going to be really interesting, but I think the main focus for now, since this race is over, is grind the effing hell out of the 500 qualifiers.
Well, we're going to wrap things up here then on RaceSpotTV and go and take a look at those lap times from the IndyCar qualifying process. The month of May is well and truly underway, and RaceSpotTV is delighted, as always, to bring coverage here live on YouTube. To stay involved with us through the next week and the action building up to the 12th annual iRacing Indy 500, stay connected on social media at RaceSpotTV across of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. If you're not already subscribed to us on YouTube, hit that red button and the bell next to it to get notified every single time we go live with a great sim racing series that we get to cover. It was Phil Kraus in victory lane just a couple of days ago. Team Talent taking the 2nd annual iRacing Fixed 500. The 12th annual iRacing Indy 500 is live on RaceSpotTV this Saturday, May 22nd at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. You can catch all the action here, but for now, it's so long and goodbye once more at the start of a new week, and it's Brendan Lichtenberg in victory lane. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. I've been joined by the wonderful Lorenzo Bonder. TV cameras, as always, provided to us by Istvan Ballo and TrackCams22.com, with additional car cameras designed by RaceSpot's own Tyler Maxson. We will see you in 7 days' time, but you won't want to miss the iRacing Indy 500 this coming weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week and the week-long grind that is qualifying, and it all builds up to the action this coming Saturday.